Jen Lex operating system, you've heard of it, right? The latest hybrid Linux kernel, you've heard of it? Jen Lex OS? I'm just playing. I did want to weigh in on the Alex Jones debacle just a little bit because I'm driving and I have nothing else to do. And it's out there and about there, so. I like what Matt said about it as far as, you know, being a cover operation. And of course, everybody has heard of all publicity is good publicity. You've heard of that, right? And I didn't generate that anagram by myself. I have machines to do these things. I don't think it's just about trying to trample free speech. I mean, that's been going on forever. You know, free speech has never been, it's always been, you know, play acting. Albeit we're in an era apparently where sorts of violent things aren't necessarily happening if you speak your mind. If you believe any of our recorded history, then you know that that hasn't always been the case. And now it just seems like suppression happens via a systemic way, an algorithmic way, rather than people pulling puppet strings and individuals making decisions. It seems to have gone into a different realm altogether. And it's not just suppression, because there is also the idea of too much information and information overload. Even if you take something like Facebook, which is Facebook and most people don't like it. Generally speaking, Facebook is kind of either laughed at or is seen as some sort of a control mechanism. But what it does do good, or at least it has the right idea, is that it filters information for you based on algorithms. Because you can't look at all the information. Your brain it does not have the capacity to look at all this information. You can look at bits at a time. And so Facebook tailors that feed for you. If you just imagine perhaps that the same algorithms that determine if like a hot button item that is being presented is going to be suppressed or poleaxed or whatever, however it happens, you know, you don't have to see it as suppression, you could see it as filtration, because just the same way that you're not able to look at all the information that's available on the internet on one single web page, you're not able to listen to all of the people that are out there producing news. Now, I'm not condoning channels being pulled or anything like that. I'm just saying there's a possibility that the algorithm, these supercomputer algorithms that determine your Facebook feed, might also have a hand in real life channels being shut down and then resurrected in 10 days or a month or whatever. It's a possibility. I mean, it's not like government's like, hey guys, we just now discovered about Alex Jones. Like, this guy is really fucking with us and we got to take him down. You know, that type of thing is probably not happening. Most everybody knows about Alex Jones. So it's more of a coordinated chess move, and which Alex himself may or may not be in on. There was a thing to do with the number 5. I forget what it was, but I looked it up a long time ago, and it had to do with compartmentalization of power hierarchies and how each unit needed to know a very specific and finite amount of information, and if it followed these patterns, the 5 patterns, then it operates at the highest of efficiency. So the people within their compartments only know what they need to know based on the numeric distribution of information, and it protects all the levels on up through the ranks. I don't know that that's anything of what's going on here or not. I just know that even these creatures, as Matt calls them, you know, the whoever's are out there doing things, they themselves are compartmentalized, without a doubt. Which means that unless there's some soulless cretin that is just a biological entity only, operating robotically with instructions, then that means that they also have their own internal life going on, and they actually are valuable to the realm in whatever capacity it is that they're serving. Whether or not they have any big picture knowledge or the capacity to formulate such knowledge. I see it more, instead of the push towards ultimate Big Brother scenario, instead of that, I see it more as Alex Jones has always been, he's been your step 1, Matt. He's been your 9/11 stuff, like you're first rubbing your sleep out of your eyes, you're like, whoa, you know, something, like trying to like blink your eyes clear, and you finally see one thing that's odd in the realm. And that's a valuable it's a valuable step. And most people do graduate, you know, from Alex Jones. You know, take him for whatever he was worth to you, you know, in that situation. He did add value to your life somehow, otherwise he wouldn't have watched it. Like, all parts of the show are integral to the whole thing. So the Alex Jones part is just as integral as every single other thing that's going on, including all of our internal, you know, grinding of all that information within our own individual selves. And all that comes flying together to create, you know, this consensus reality, which is, of course, highly confusing if you're trying to mentally understand it. But I feel more like Alex is like, you know, he's an offering, he's an opportunity for those that want to look beyond utter blindness. If you want to look, or if you feel a pull to look beyond utter blindness, well then there's your man. You know, he's energetic and he's talking about issues, and he'll get you thinking about something. And at the same time, any shenanigans with channels being pulled always creates more publicity for the person. Always. Even if he only maintained his website, and his website is still up. I went and looked. Even if all of his social media was gone, well, guess what? All of the ardent Alex Jones fans are now streaming over to his website. it only ever produces more publicity, and it gives him the chance to display his honorable intentions and all this other stuff. You know, like when the spotlight is put on you, then that's your opportunity. It always comes out in the wash at some point. Somewhere on down the road, there's always the unveiling continues in all of its multi-onion levels. My dad, I think, now knows about Alex Jones. So yeah, he's getting more widespread by this, and average John and Jane Doe who have never gone outside of their same routine that they've done for their whole lives possibly might think something differently. Military stuff trundling down the road. Alex Jones. I mean, yeah. I don't really have a whole lot to say about him. I don't dislike him. He doesn't like turn me off or anything. I feel like he's very, if he's putting on an act, he's a really good actor, and he's very, he believes what he's saying, or else he's a super good actor. I don't know. But whatever is the case, it's at least giving people something to talk about in the realm, which can be kind of a little dull and monotonous sometimes. So, let me know what you think about Alex and the scenario. I don't know why I'm talking about Alex Jones, but like I said, I'm driving for long hours, and why not? Let me know what you think. Hope everybody's doing well. Peace.